Hey everybody, Mr. Traveler here. Thanks for tuning in today. Ladies and gentlemen, Carnival is turning their room attendants into snitches. Let's talk about it after this. Thank you so much for tuning in today. If you would be so kind, please make sure you subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell so you know when we upload videos or go live. So let's talk about the subject at hand today, which is the room attendants being snitches. And so there's some things that already happen with room attendants right now. They are supposed to report things that they see up in your room, like if they see you have smoking paraphernalia out on your balcony, like they can tell you've been smoking, or if it smells like smoke in the stateroom, they're supposed to report that. If they see items in your cabin that you're not supposed to have, like weapons or clothes iron and things like that, they will confiscate those items most of the time. What we're talking about is a rule that's already been in place, but it's going to be more strictly enforced going forward. And I think that has to do with they're trying to get the children under control on board these Carnival cruise ships. So have you ever been on some of these ships sometimes? And man, these kids are running up and down the hall at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and it's just, it's just a lot of out of control behavior that we have personally seen on board these ships. And so I think this is an effort to kind of crack down on some of that. So let's talk a little bit about the policies and how you can and how minors get booked. So if you're under 21 years old, you have to be accompanied by somebody that's 25 years or older. The exception to that rule is if you're legally married, or if you are a registered service personnel. So if you're a military person, then those rules don't apply to you, but you have to prove those things in order to do the booking. And so if you are 12 and under, the minor can have a room to themselves, but it either has to be directly next door to the 25-year-old or directly across the hall. That's where it has to be right there. And on top of that, the room, if it's in a room next door, those minors can't be in that room by themselves with a balcony. So the 25-year-old would have to be in the room with them there. Okay, so if they're 13 to 17, they can be up to 3 staterooms away from the adult. And if they're 18 to 20, they can be anywhere on the ship, but their booking has to be tied to that 25-year or older person. So let's talk a little bit about what can happen and why we're talking about this being an issue. So sometimes when people book based on these rules, they may not be able to get the cabin directly next door or directly across from them, because maybe this ship is a very popular ship and a lot of the stuff is already sold out. Or sometimes the room next to you or directly across from you is very expensive. So they're looking for alternate ways to book. So sometimes what will happen is that it'll be, let's say we had 2 adults and 2 kids, I don't know, 12 and 14. So sometimes what will happen is they'll book 2 staterooms. They'll book one very nice stateroom for the adults, but they'll put 1 adult and 1 kid, the 14-year-old, let's say, in the very nice stateroom. And then they'll put a, maybe like an cheap interior down in the basement for the other adult and the other child, with the thought in their head, hey, when we get on board the ship, both of those kids are going down in the basement in the cheap room. They don't care. They're going to be running around the ship anyway. And the adults will be up in the nice room, the balcony. And, and that's because, again, there was either not availability on either cabin on either side or across, or maybe it was just too expensive. So either way, this does happen. So this is where Carnival is going to break down. You're not supposed to do that, right? According to the rules, they have to be right next door to you. They're 12 years old. So that room has to be right next door or right across. But hence, these kids are down in the deck 3 and your cabin is up on deck 12. That is a no-no. So now Carnival is requiring the room stewards to report this kind of behavior. So not only that, but also if the minors are in the room, in a balcony room without a supervised adult. Okay, because things can happen. I remember it wasn't too long ago last year that that young person fell off of the balcony on the Royal Caribbean ship. So accidents happen, but I think more than anything, this is to stem the behavior that we've been seeing from kids on board these cruise ships. So we've been seeing some crazy stuff, just running all over the ship, hanging out on the stairways and harassing people when they go by, and laughing and joking at other passengers and stuff like that. So we've just seen some real crazy behavior lately on board the ships. So I think this is an effort for them to really try to control that. Also, their policy is for anybody that's under 17, their curfew is 1 o'clock in the morning. So that will be more strictly adhered to. So, let's hope that this helps the situation. I mean, that puts the room steward kind of in a precarious position, right? Because they're, trying to get their tip, obviously. But at the same time, they're trying to, police behavior or police safety concerns on board these ships. So we'll see how this goes. And just for other information for you, in case you're traveling with children, you also can have the babies. If you have newborn babies, they have to be at least 6 months old to go on a cruise. Or if you have a cruise that has more than 2 consecutive sea days, so like a transatlantic crossing and something like that, if it has 3 sea days back to back to back, they have to be at least 12 months old. All right, so that's just some additional tidbits for you when talking about traveling with children. And so, hopefully, as time goes on, I don't, this is always a touchy subject when we start talking about children and behavior on board cruise ships, because we always get the feedback on here. And I don't necessarily blame the children. The blame has to be with the parents. We have seen parents come on, their sole purpose is it's the cruise ship's job to watch you now. And see we've actually traveled with people who have done that, and we haven't traveled with them since, but we have traveled with people like that. They just turn them kids loose and see you in 5 days, kind of thing. Really, really not good behavior. There's a lot of good activities on board these ships for the kids clubs and all the different activities that they have. But we have to be respectful of everybody's time on board the ship. Everybody's got, their time is precious. Everybody has sacrificed and spent their money to go on here to hopefully have a good time, relaxing time, whatever kind of time that they're looking to have. And they just don't need it to be interrupted by crazy stuff going on, like, getting your door knocked on at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. That just isn't fun. So let's just all work together, and, hopefully we can start to curtail some of these things that we're seeing on the cruise lines. All right, everybody. Thanks so much for watching. If we can help you book that dream vacation, make sure you give us a call, 877-697-4470, or you can book right online at www.mr-traveler.com. You can book online, and then we'll make sure that you have the very best rate and get in contact with you to make sure that you can make excellent memories for you and your family. Remember, life's short, have fun. Get out there and see the world. Bye, everybody.